Hi guys, it's Melissa from Starry Family Farm, and today I'm going to talk to you about starting your spring garden, how to plan it out. We use square foot gardening just so that we can plan it out better and see where everything is going to go and have a really good plan. So as some of you might know, we are doing the farmers market this year. It's our first year doing that. I grow microgreens, which I've been doing for about a year. That's all indoors. But we're like, well, we're going to be at the farmer's market already. We might as well grow some stuff too, since we have about 3.5 acres of field available for that. So these are our starter plants. We started the big ones at the beginning of February. And these smaller ones were planted, I believe, at the end of March. And these smaller ones are about to be transplanted in the next couple of days into the bigger 4-inch pots, just so that they can just have some room to spread out and get bigger, because those will be going to the farmer's market. So I'm going to show you how I designed our garden in an Excel spreadsheet. It is mid-April, which means we can plant a bunch of stuff in the garden already, like our cold weather tolerant vegetables like radish and carrots, broccoli, lettuce, all those kind of things can go out now. And I don't want to get behind, especially at the farmer's market. I want to have all the vegetables when other people have them. So I will show you what I created in the last couple of days in Excel. This is my garden setup in Excel. So I basically have everything color coded with the key down here. And each one of these squares is 1 square foot. So this is what that looks like right now. There's quite a bit of an area that there's a very big area that we're not using. We're only using about an acre, maybe 3/4 of an acre currently. We'll see. We can always expand if we feel the need. And we can always expand next year if we don't need to this year. You know, we can see what sells well. So say carrots sold super well, we were sold out every week. Well, we could add, a couple more rows of carrots, or a lot more rows of carrots, or whatever it is that sells really well. Say, maybe eggplant didn't sell, so maybe next year we won't even plant eggplant. We'll put something else in that spot. So the nice thing about doing a garden by square foot is that you can plan it out in Excel just like this. So for carrots, I did 42 square feet per row. And so this tells me how many seeds to put in each square foot and how much room they'll need to grow. So all these first ones only need 1 square foot and for several seeds. But as we get to like the jalapenos, those need 4 square feet per plant. You get up here to, where's those tomatoes? I haven't put them on here again yet. Tomatoes, so look at this tomato. This one needs 6 square feet for 1 tomato plant. So it just depends on, what you're growing and how much room it needs. But we can find all that information on the back of our seed packets, and we can put it in here really easily. So if you're working with a big area and you don't want to actually go out and measure it, you can use Google Earth Pro. It's a free app, super easy to use. So you're basically going to type in your address right here, whatever that is, your house address, your city, your state, and then you're going to hit search. So after you hit search, I'll show you what happens. It goes to your location. And at this point you can zoom in. And I'm going to show you a really cool tool on here for measuring distance. So you go, there's this box that's popped up here, and I'm going to go to path, and I want it measured in feet. So I'm just going to click, this is our old garden area. I'm going to click the corners of that from here to here. And look at that. So there's a line, and that tells me over here that that is 53.25 feet. Okay, so I know that that's about how wide my garden is. And if I want to know how long my garden is, oh, let's hit clear. I want to know the length. There we go, 89.38 feet. Or you can clear that. If you want to know the area, you can hit polygon, and you can actually click on, come on, all four corners, and it'll tell you that that is 0.1 acres for the area, and that the perimeter is 281 feet, which is not really helpful with the garden and these lines, but so the area is, or we could do square feet, which is 4,553 square feet, which is more helpful when you are doing gardening by the square foot. So that would tell you how many square feet are in that area, so that you can plan accordingly. So I have Excel open, and you can see that these are rectangles. We want those to be squares so that they represent square feet and they're easier to work with. So we're going to go to this tab right here that says format. We're going to look at the row height. Okay, that says 15. We're going to keep that. Format column width. We're going to change this. It says 8.43. We're going to make that 2.29. And then see that? It turned into little squares. Next, you're going to outline your garden area. So no matter how big or how small your garden is going to be, you just outline that area. So say our garden is 5 feet by 12 feet. Okay, so this is per foot. No, this is per, yeah. That's a really small garden. Let's say 10 feet by 12 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm gonna get like a dirt color or something that, okay. And then by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See that paint button I'm clicking after I have the cells highlighted? Click on that paint button. Okay, so that's my 10 by 12 garden. Of course, your garden can be smaller or much bigger. You know, we could plan a much bigger garden too. It's gonna basically just be the same thing, just more area to work with. If you want to get rid of a colored cell, you just click on it and then you go up to the paint button and go to no fill. And it will correct that. And of course, if you live in town and you're just having this like in your backyard, it might be easier just to go get a tape measure and just kind of mark off where you're going to have your garden area. Or if you're going to build a raised bed, you can measure that out, whether you already have the bed or that is something that you need to build. Okay, so now that we have the size of our garden area figured out, maybe you don't, maybe you want to see maybe you have a ton of room and you just want to see what you can plant there, and maybe you want to expand it at that point. But so the easiest thing to do is figure out what you're going to grow. So say I want to do carrots, and I want to grow kale. It's way better fresh. It doesn't taste bitter. And lettuce for sure. Do some lettuce. And these can all be planted now in mid-April. These tolerate chilly weather. But then say we want some of these that we have to wait till May for, so maybe some tomatoes, jalapenos, sweet peppers. So if they say that these are the ones that we want to put in our garden, that's all that we want. So we're going to look at the back of these. So carrots. So for carrots it says, sow seeds thinly in rows 12 inches apart. So from row to row, like one row of carrots here, one row of carrots here, and those two rows should be at least 12 inches apart. Okay, so when I planted carrots yesterday, I did 6 seeds per square foot. Okay, so let's get planning. So first up, I'm going to start planning for the things that I can plant right now. So let's start with kale. So for kale, it says that each plant needs to be about 12 inches apart. So that means that for 1 square foot, I'm only going to be able to put 1 kale plant. Okay, so I'm going to, I don't need a whole bunch of kale. Let's just do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How about 10 kale plants? I'm going to color that in with like a green color. I'm going to make a key over here. And then I'm going to highlight a couple of cells and hit merge and center so I can type in there. I'm going to type kale, and then the direction said I can only put 1 per square foot. So I'm just going to put a number 1 in all these squares so that I know I can only plant 1 seed per square foot. And then I'm going to leave a 2-foot gap between all of my rows so that I can push my mower through here or whatever I need to do, or give myself room to harvest or whatever that is. So I'm going to start my next row 2 feet over. So next I'll do lettuce. Okay, so lettuce is, so space after thinning 6 to 8 inches. Okay. So for lettuce, you could actually do 3 plants per 2 square feet. So basically, in this 2 square foot area, I'm going to put 3 plants, like 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a different green for lettuce, or you can color whatever color you want. You can color yellow or whatever, it doesn't matter, because we have a color-coded system over here. I'm going to choose this green, I'm going to merge the center, I'm going to write lettuce. And then for this one, I'm going to write 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Just that I remember that per 2 square feet, I can put 3 plants in there. Okay. Next, carrots. Carrots is a little trickier because you have to plant a new row every 2 weeks, because 1 seed equals 1 carrot, and you don't want carrots just for 1 week. So for carrots, it says just to sow seeds thinly and that the rows like in between need to be at least 12 inches apart. So I'm going to start carrots here. I'm going to pick an orange color. I'm going to make a key over here. Right, carrots. Okay, so for carrots, when I planted them today out in the garden, I put 6 carrot seeds per square foot. I'm going to write 6 in all these. And then I'm going to leave a 2-foot row there. So I'm going to plant, this one today. Then in 2 weeks, I'm going to plant another row. Oops. And then I'm going to copy and paste this so I don't have to keep writing all that out. I'm going to hit Control C. I'm going to put that there. Another one here. So these seeds say they're ready for harvest in 75 to 80 days. So I'm going to make sure that I have enough rows to bring me to that 75 days so that I can start over again. So this would be, say today, 2 weeks. Well, I'm going to go by 15s instead of 14 days for 2 weeks. So this would be 30 days. Another 2 rows would be 60 days. And another row would be about 75 days, which is where I'm going to end. So if I plant these, say today, and then in 2 weeks I'll plant another row, 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 in 2 weeks I'll plant another row. So then by the time these are ready to harvest, I will be ready to plant another row here. So 2 weeks after I planted these will be ready to be harvested, and I will start this cycle over. I'll plant in here, then in 2 weeks, these will be ready to harvest, so I'll plant in here again, and so on and so forth to last us through summer and fall, basically. I don't know how long these go into fall, but for sure, all of summer if we continue that cycle. So now we'll head into some of these that will be planted in mid-May, and these get big. So for these, we're going to need more than 1 square foot per plant. So let's start with these sweet peppers. So these say the space should be 18 to 24 inches per plant. Okay. So let's say 24 inches. So that would be on all sides, right? 2 feet by 2 feet. So this is going to be 4 square feet per sweet pepper. Okay. So let's say I'm going to do 5 plants. So there's 1 plant, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to color this. Let's do these red. I'm going to write sweet pepper, and I'm basically just going to put a 1 in after 4 squares, just so that I know that I can't plant more than 1 seed per 4 square feet. And I'm going to actually change these to white font so I can actually read them. Okay, then I'm going to leave a 2-foot aisle here. I'm going to move on to my jalapenos. These say, again, 18 to 24 inches of space. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did for the sweet peppers. I'm going to change this to, I'm going to do blue this time. I'm going to put this over my key, merge and center, so I can write a nice long word there. Jalapeno. Then I'm only going to put 1 per 4 square feet. Okay. Next I'm going to do my tomato. These are big old tomatoes. And right there it says a space of 3 to 4 feet. So I'm going to go with 3 feet. But if you want to do 4 feet, that's fine too. So I'm going to leave a 2-foot gap, and then I'm going to allow this tomato plant to have 3 feet on each side, or 9 square feet total per plant. I'm going to color code this with purple. I'm going to write tomato here. And if I were doing a couple of different varieties, I would write tomato dash burpees, just so that I would know exactly what kind of tomato was there. And then I'm going to write a number 1 right here, 1 plant for this whole area. One, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm going to pretend like I'm going to have 4 tomato plants here. I'm going to change the font so I can read it. Okay, so I've planted my garden. I see I have a little bit of room left over here. So why not plant some cucumbers in there? So cucumbers, it says to plant them in hills 36 inches apart, and that when you're going to thin them down, which I am not doing that, I'm just planting how many are supposed to be per group. So you're supposed to end up with 2 plants about every 3 feet. So 2 plants every 3 feet, which would make each plant need about 18 inches of room. Well, I'm just going to say 2 feet on each side. So 4 square feet per cucumber plant. I'm just going to do yellow this time. Okay. And then 1 plant per 4 square feet. Okay, and then I'm going to actually plant 2 rows of these. And then in this middle part, I'm going to put a trellis that they can share and climb up. So for my trellis, I'm going to label that as gray. And there we go. My garden is planned. I like the way that it looks. And I'm ready to start planting my mid-April seeds, and then I'll be ready for mid-May when I can plant the rest. So I have my plans in the works. I had it finished yesterday, but it turns out that Google Earth Pro was giving me a few extra feet on each side here from where a strawberry patch ends. It was saying that I had up until about here, which I went out there and was planting, and I don't have up to there. So I am still in the process of rearranging, especially with like my big tomato plants and stuff. I have plenty of room, but I haven't finished rearranging everything. But when I'm done with this, I will print all this out again and laminate it all, and then I'll be able to take it out to the garden. And I have my yardstick out there, and so I'm actually like measuring off all the rows and the seed spacing. So here's my sheets that I printed out yesterday and laminated. They're just really convenient. So this is where our garden starts, on this side of the house. And so I planted carrots today, but my plan has changed from yesterday already. So this was my original plan though. The carrots, all of the stuff that I have to repeat planting every 2 weeks. I put in one area. And all this stuff stays really short too, so it won't block the sun from anything. So like carrots, radish, turnips, beets. This is a continuation of those rows. Kale, Swiss chard, basil, lettuce. And then I have the shorter stuff closest to where the sun is coming up at. That way the sun can shine this direction, and this stuff in front is not going to block the stuff back here. So I'm going to put like my tomato plants and my pepper plants and all that on the east side of the garden so that they are not blocking the sun for everybody else. And I'm going to show you how to print by row. Otherwise, it'll print out this entire spreadsheet and it'll be a crazy mess. So I'm going to print out like this area, which I already did, this first row area, first slash second row. So I'm going to show you how to print out my third and fourth rows. So I'm going to drag and highlight, and I like to include some borders just so I kind of see where I'm at in my garden. So I'm going to highlight my third and fourth rows, and I'm going to go to the Windows button up here, hit print. Just going to have this box pop up. We're going to hit print what? Selection. And we're going to hit enter. So these are the two sheets that printed out then. And so this is the third row, and then we have the fourth row up here. And so you can put these back to back and laminate them together, or you can put them in a clear protective sheet like I have this one in, and just to protect it so you don't have to keep printing these out and wasting a bunch of ink.